I welcome you to this session of ISO 9001-2015, and today we are going to discuss about competence. This is clause number 7.2 of ISO 9001-2015. So as usual, first of all, I'll read out the requirement to you as given in the standard. Clause 7.2 competence. The organization shall A, B, C, D, there are 4 points under this. A. Determine the necessary competence of persons doing work under its control that affects the performance and effectiveness of quality management system. B. Ensure that these persons are competent on the basis of appropriate education, training or experience. C. Where applicable, take actions to acquire the necessary competence and evaluate the effectiveness of actions taken. Retain appropriate documented information. D. Retain appropriate documented information as evidence of competence. There is a note below. The applicable actions can include, for example, the provision of training to, the mentoring of, or the reassignment of currently employed persons, or the hiring or contracting of competent persons. So this is all in this clause, and now let us discuss it in more detail. Well, as the clause title says, it is regarding the competence of the people working under the organization or the company and carrying out work for producing products and services which ultimately go to the customers. And therefore it says that to determine necessary competence of persons doing work under its control that affect the performance and effectiveness of the quality management system. So the people who are working under the organization, their competence has to be determined, what is necessary, and those people should be working under the control of the organization, and that will be affecting the performance and effectiveness of the QMS that we have prepared and which our people are following. So we have to first of all determine this competence of persons doing work under the control of the organization. Second thing, B, is ensure that these persons are competent on the basis of appropriate education, training or experience. So we have to ensure that all the people who are working within the organization, they are competent on the basis of education. That means they must have appropriate educational level, and training, appropriate training provided to them, or experience. And if they have the necessary experience, they should be able to produce the products and services meeting customer requirements. And therefore we have to ensure that these persons are competent on these three accounts. That means on the basis of education, on the basis of training, on the basis of experience, past experience that they have to their credit. And C is, where applicable, take actions to acquire necessary competence. If the people are not fully competent, then we have to do something and ensure that they acquire that competence and evaluate an effectiveness of the actions taken. And then not only that, they should acquire the competence by way of providing training or exposure or some kind of seminars or sharing of knowledge or mentoring. That means guidance, providing guidance to them under a senior person. So all this has to be done, and actions have to be taken to acquire necessary competence and evaluate the effectiveness of the actions taken. Now once the training or the actions have been taken to acquire knowledge, then the effectiveness of actions taken has to be evaluated, and this may be done after some period. Say for example, after a month of providing the training, you can evaluate how much they had grasped or how much they are now able to perform the work more effectively as compared to their earlier level of competence. So this has to be evaluated. Training has to be evaluated. So where applicable, take actions to acquire necessary competence and evaluate the effectiveness of the actions taken. That was C. And now we come to the last point. Retain appropriate documented information as evidence of competence. That means competency criteria has to be prepared in the format available, and then the competence of each and every level people, right from the janitor to the top man. We should write down what experience is required, what qualification they should have, what is the experience needed, and what is the training required by them, and whatever further we wish to add to that kind of record. So retain appropriate documented information. That means retain appropriate record as evidence of competence of the people who are working within the organization. So this competency criteria has to be documented in the appropriate format, and that format I will be sharing with you. And lastly, there is a note, and that note says applicable actions can include, for example, provision of training to or mentoring of the people, or the reassignment of currently employed persons, maybe persons who are given the job that is not suiting their experience and their level of expertise, so they can be reshifted. So assignment of currently employed persons, or hiring or contracting of the competent persons. If we don't have any competent persons within the organization, we can hire them or contract or take them on contract, and that is how the competent persons have got to be made available within the organization for carrying out the processes for producing the products and providing the service to the customer. So this is all in this clause. This is a small clause. I hope you have understood the entire requirement. But if there is anything which is not clear to you, please give your comment below this video. I'll try to explain to you once again. And if you are liking my videos, please give me a thumbs up, give me a like, and also share my videos with your friends and colleagues so that they can also take advantage of the exchange of knowledge which is taking place between us. And please do not forget to subscribe to my channel and also press the bell icon so that as and when I load the video, the information should reach you well in time. You should be able to see my videos without any delay. So thank you very much, and we meet again on next Sunday, and we shall be talking about awareness, clause number 7.3. Bye bye. See you next Sunday.